No. Oh, am I live? Hello. Am I crooked? Maybe. Can I fix it? Maybe not. Hello, friends. Welcome. Bienvenue. Isn't that French? Bienvenue. Bienvenue. Welcome. I just had a therapy session and now I want to talk about it because I have things on my brain. Also, I think my ADHD meds might not have kicked in yet, so this might be like a little bit chaotic. Please bear with me. Hello, friends. I wave as you come in. I was just talking to my therapist about like how everything in my life feels like a task, and I don't really incorporate like self-care or like wants into my life. Hello. Like I feel like everything in my life is like just a series of tasks, and then you go to bed and then you wake up the next day and it's just the same thing, and it sucks. Like, I don't want that to be my life, just to feel like a bunch of like have to do's and then there's no joy at the end of it. Like, there's so many things in my brain. Like, even Instagram feels like a have to do for me. It feels like a task. It feels like I'm not good enough on this platform. I compare myself to other creators and I'm like, wow, they got more likes than me, or wow, their photos are so much better than mine. I need to do better. I need to do more. I need to blah, 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 blah. I need to be perfect, or like whatever my version of perfect is. And it's all bullshit. All of it's bullshit. And I think that's kind of why I wanted to do a little live and just be organic and authentic and just lay it all out. Woke up like this, you know? I'm not wearing pants, so if you see a thigh, I'm so sorry. I'm not wearing pants. You relate so much. Thank you. I relate so much too. And the really tricky thing with like mental health, mental illness, or just being human, I think, is that we feel like we're the only ones feeling this way, and that we're the only ones who suck at stuff. And then like my friends commenting, I love you guys. It's like we're not alone in this, and especially in pandemic land where we're more like physically alone. But I felt that way my whole life. I've always felt that I'm behind on everything, and I didn't like consciously know that until like pretty damn recently, that I just feel chronically behind everyone in life. I remember, I think a couple years back, oh my god, was that last year? Was that this year? I'm losing my mind. At some point in my life, I had a conversation with a woman, and she said that she bought like 2 houses before she was 25. And why do I still think about that? Like, why is that still in my head that like, okay, like I'm behind, I'm 24, and I'm also kind of like aging out of a bunch of like youth groups that I'm in, like mental health things for youth, or like advisory groups for youth. And I'm like starting to age out of that. I'm like, oh shit, okay, now I'm like a real adult, so I'm supposed to have like my shit together, but I still feel like I'm fucking 12 years old, chronically behind. That is so funny. That's my middle name. Rafaela, chronically behind Mancuso. Chronically overwhelmed and chronically behind. I love it. But yeah, 2 houses before 25, that's not even realistic. That's not even realistic. That's like the absolute exception. So why is that still in my brain? It's just like this, sometimes it's not even conscious. It's just this little like bloop of like, well, you don't own a house. I don't even pay for a lot of things in my life. I rely on my parents a lot, you guys, and that is so fucking embarrassing for me to say, because I don't have money. I've been a full-time student since birth. Like, honestly, from kindergarten till now, I've been a full-time fucking student, which in itself is a privilege that I'm able to be a student and not have to work full-time on top of that. But that's just, for me, I don't have dollar bills, and I always thought, okay, I need to go to university and do really well and work my ass off so then I can go to grad school and be a researcher or a scientist or something deemed successful or important. To impress who? My family? Yes. Everyone else? Probably. To compensate for the fact that I feel that my body is bad, is wrong, is my fault. So I need to overachieve in every other aspect of my life. Yes. And I'm sorry to throw all this on you. I'm like, I've just been working through a lot of this and it's heavy shit and I know that. But I think I just need to release it. And a therapist once told me that shame cannot live in the light. If you speak it and it's out there, then you're not holding it in forever. And so this is my shame release. I have so many comments. Let me look. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard shit. It's so hard, and like it's really validating to me to know that other people can like relate to this. It also makes me really sad that a lot of us feel like this, that we feel like we are just not good enough. We will never be good enough. Nothing we do will ever be good enough. Like, and that's the thing, is like I work my fucking ass off to feel like I'm just catching up. Like I've like thrown myself into school, into work, into whatever it is, just to feel like, okay, maybe now I can be like everyone else. Which is a bullshit mentality, because we're all in different stages of our lives. And there isn't like a right thing. Like I'm 24 and still in university, and like a lot of my friends graduated when they were 21. But people may also just be going to school now. Like there is no timeline. And even if there is this timeline that we put on ourselves, or that society puts on us, or our family puts on us, why do we care what they think? You know, like I will 100% have family asking me forever what my plan is, what I'm doing, when am I graduating school, after that, what am I doing, what's my job, can I make money, blah, 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 blah. That's what my family does. Don't love it. But instead of me trying to change other people around me, which I learned you cannot do, unfortunately. If I can say to myself, like, okay, this person just cares about me and wants me to be happy, and they think I need, to have money or material things in order to have that, and I can maybe like release that shame of like talking to a family member and, what are your plans for after school? Like, what if I just said Instagram? Like what if I said, yeah, I don't want to go to grad school. I don't even know if I want to work within my field. Like, what if I want to do Instagram, start some businesses that I'm trying to start, and see where it goes, Oh, your younger sister graduated before me, and I just keep getting the same questions. Yeah, my younger cousin graduated before me, and I was kind of nervous about that. Like, not fitting in the timeline. Thankfully, it didn't feel like a big deal. I don't think people really like shamed me for that. Which is good, but it is still really hard when family members, or anyone in our life, doesn't have to be family, it can be even just what you see on social media, or friends, or just what we think we should be doing, I just tell them I'll be in school forever. I do that too, and that's like me trying to dismiss it. I try to make a joke out of it, and I'm like, oh, who knows? I'm gonna be in school forever, haha. And I like, because like for me, that's me trying to like hide my hurt or my shame. Is like I try to make a joke out of it to like dismiss it, push it aside, or just try to end the conversation, because I just like I don't want to have to justify myself to you. And even with my immediate family or anyone, even me saying like, yeah, I want to do Instagram, I have shame in. And I don't want to, because like this interaction right here brings me joy. This feels so authentic to me. I'm just chilling. I literally slept in this bun, and I literally threw on this shirt, not wearing pants, and I have some French toast in front of me that I'm very excited to eat. And like this feels real and authentic and meaningful, and I'm not trying to be anyone else but myself in this moment. Why can't I pursue that? Like if this feels real to me, and I also don't want to have to try to explain that to people. Like I have to show them, my income or the paychecks, or like try to convince people that I'm not a piece of shit, or that I'm not lazy, or that I'm not taking the easy way out. And that's a shitty feeling, to feel like we have to explain ourselves in order to receive validation or love or care. It's like, why can't it all just be unconditional? Why can't you just show me that same love, care, respect, no matter what my body looks like? That's a big one for me, is I felt like I had to explain why I don't want to shrink myself. And that's a hard one. And I'm also trying to learn that maybe a lot of people in my life will not ever understand that, won't accept that. And I have to accept that. I have to accept that reality, that people in my life might see my body as a failure or a problem. But it's also not my job to convince them. I hate how we always have the desire to make other people happy. We should be able to just make ourselves happy and be accepted for that. Yeah, I agree. And I fell in that trap like my whole life, of thinking I had to be what my parents wanted me to be. I had to be what is praised in society. So, we think the successful people, like I saw myself like working in a lab, being a scientist, like, wow, that's so cool. That's so like amazing. And I did some research, and I really enjoyed some aspects of research, but the stress was not worth it. And it's like, why would I want to do more of that? And even now, like I'm just finishing my degree, and I'm so stressed, and it's not bringing me joy. And something I just talked to my therapist about is like, but if I don't work my ass off and get a really good grade, then people are going to think I'm stupid, that I can't do it. Like my whole life, I've sacrificed everything in my life in order to get good grades. I got good grades. Yeah, and people thought it was natural. I sacrificed everything to get good grades. So now what? So if it feels like I'm choosing to not do well, like I have a stats final tomorrow. Maybe this is another reason for the existential crisis. I have a stats final tomorrow. It's like, if I don't sacrifice my mental health, my well-being, or everything else in order to excel on that exam, it means I'm choosing to do bad. I am choosing not to be good. I'm like, which is also fucked and not true, because I know that I'm choosing myself and my wellness and my mental health over a stupid number on a piece of paper. It's all digital. It's not even a paper. Whatever. And that's something that's really conflicting. Like, I can say that this does not determine my worth, my value, or my future. And yet there's still something so uncomfortable about letting go. of like, oh, I don't need to prove my worth in like a tangible way of like, hey, look at this grade I got. I'm not lazy. I'm not stupid. Look at this. Like, what if I took away that desire for validation of like, yeah, Rafaela, you're not lazy and you don't have to prove it. Yeah, like, I know you're smart and you don't have to prove it. Like, I'm sorry if I know I'm jumping all around. I think online learning is making these feelings 10 times worse. And that's an interesting one as well. Like, it's hard for me because this year, like between in-person learning and online learning, I went through a year of fucking intensive therapy and got on ADHD meds. So for me, I've been okay doing online learning and not forcing myself to like haul my ass to campus and get there on time, and I'm always late and I'm always rushing and I can't even pay attention in class. So for me, I'm chill with online learning. Yeah, it's just those feelings of shame that I'm really wanting to work through, and like, even if I bomb this test or don't give it my all, that doesn't define my worth. I think struggling with self-worth is such a human feeling. It sucks. It sucks. It was so funny in a sad way. When I was in my intensive therapy program, one of the therapists said something about like my low self-worth, and I was like, no. Like, I have a low body image, but like my self-worth is fine. Like, or my self-esteem, like, I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I know that I'm like capable of stuff. Like, it's fine. And they were like, okay. And then like a few weeks later, it's just me like bawling, like, I don't have any worth. And it's interesting that I didn't know that for a long time, that I had a low self-worth or low self-esteem, because it was hidden under me compensating. Like, because deep down I felt that, you know, my worth is dependent on what I do, what I produce, I just overproduced and overdid everything and worked so hard on every aspect of my life. So I felt like, no, I'm not worthless. Getting good grades, I'm doing this thing, I'm good at that, I'm fucking funny. And it's like, oh, those were all coping mechanisms because deep down, I really feel that I suck. And so I overcompensate by doing all these other things. So that was an interesting roller coaster to go on. Masking those feelings takes so much of my time too. Yeah. And I cried last week in therapy about like, okay, so if I stop masking my feelings, I'm just going to be sad and like grumpy and no one's going to want to be around me. Like, is that what I want? And she was like, no, I don't think your authentic self is that, Rafaela. Because I am really performative sometimes, and, you know, I'm people pleasing, but at the end of the day, I just really want to be my authentic self and connect with people who also feel that you're chronically behind or chronically overwhelmed or not good enough or not achieving enough, not being enough, that we're like losing our minds, or that, you know, we're like crazy because of our mental health or our anxiety, or we can't do things like other people can. And a lot of people blame Instagram and social media, like, oh, it's just a highlight reel and you don't see anything real. It's all just people's highlights and you don't see their failures and their low moments. And I'm like, okay, but we control social media. So then stop posting just the highlights. Like, that's the thing. Instead of just throwing social media in the trash, can we instead say, I recognize that, so I'm going to show all parts of myself? I mean, obviously set boundaries with yourself and, like, people. I'm not good at that. But that's what I want to do. I want to show the good, the bad, the ugly, the messy, the breakdowns, the existential crises, because my life is not a fucking highlight reel. And I had to mute a lot of my favorite creators because they're only showing the highlights, and I was comparing myself so hard saying like, oh my God, I'm never going to be like them. I'm like, how can they do all these things and get that and do this and look like that? And it's like, I just can't. I had to just mute because I'm like, it's not their fault that I'm doing all these comparisons, but for me and my wellness, I just needed to like back up a bit, only follow accounts that are bringing me joy and filling me up and bringing value and meaning to my life, even if they don't have like millions of followers or aren't like seemingly perfect. You know, I have comments. When are they? When we see each other's scars, we love each other more. I agree. I think vulnerability really brings people together. Becca, I truly feel like we're the same person if only we didn't live thousands of miles apart. My dude, literally, I feel so connected to people I haven't even met in real life. And I think that's okay. I think we can still all be best friends and have this sense of community and love. You know, even if we're on opposite sides of the world, I think that's okay. And it's hard. I feel like this weird thing that like, I feel like this subconscious belief that like I just annoy everyone in my life. Everyone is just annoyed with me. And it doesn't even feel like I'm making it up. I'm not like, oh my God, everyone hates me. It's just like, it feels so damn factual. Like, oh, that person's just annoyed with me. It's okay. It's my fault. I'm going to ignore them or I'm going to leave it alone. And I'm trying to realize that, oh, maybe that person's not actually annoyed with me. Maybe they're just busy, or maybe they're just like literally living their life and they're not annoyed with me. And if they are, I mean, that's fine. I just have like a big, especially on Instagram, like, yeah, I guess I kind of have these moments of like showing up and then I kind of slide away because I'm like, oh my God, people are just tired of hearing from me. I'm just like chaos. I'm not cute and pretty and post like all these lovely little happy things. I kind of, you know, a bull in a china shop. I fuck everything up and I just need to like, you know, back up. And I'm really trying to like resist that and take up space the way I want to, and not thinking like, oh my God, like I need to look a certain way so that people like me. I need to do a certain thing so that people like me, especially if I'm wanting to like really pursue this space and use this and my activism for my life. And it's like, okay, but I'm not going to be able to make this sustainable if people don't like me. So there is a sense of like people pleasing. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, but this isn't what I want then. If I'm living a life of constantly people pleasing, I might as well just go to fucking grad school because it's the same thing, right? Whether it's me people pleasing here or for my family and trying to get good grades, or I don't know, whatever else I would do. But I'm trying to remind myself that it's okay to be messy. It's okay to be imperfect and not have everything together and not have the perfect caption and not have the perfect picture, and show up however we are and connect in that way. And I think I'm running out of words, but I saw things and I want to acknowledge them. Oh, people are so nice. I appreciate all of the love and support so much, and there's someone at my door. Is it a package? Let's go look. I'm scared. Is it a package? Okay, I think it's a package. I don't think there's a human, so I'm just gonna like wait because I'm like, once again, not wearing pants. Yeah, I'm gonna stop because I need to eat some food and get that package at the door. And then eventually study for my thing tomorrow, and I don't want to. But I appreciate every single one of you. Honestly, like from the bottom of my heart, if you've given me any time or attention or love or just been present here, I am so deeply grateful. And we're all in this bullshit together. Message me. I'll reply eventually. Sometimes I get overwhelmed and I don't. I love you all. Be good. Do a self-care thing. Please feed your bodies. Feed yourself. Food is good. I'm gonna eat my French toast. I love you. Bye.